Woo! Yeah! MVP! You look back at the season from hell that the Fever had. None of us expected them to be in this situation. None of us expected them to be winning a very close Game 3.
Just when the haters started celebrating, the impossible happened. Caitlin Clark, whose season was declared over after a devastating injury, has just been confirmed to play in the WNBA Finals. The experts are backtracking, rival teams are panicking, and the entire script for the championship has just been ripped to shreds. The Indiana Fever were the underdogs who fought their way to the top, but now their ultimate weapon is back online, and this changes absolutely everything.
Fever Insider is confirming that Caitlin Clark is fully healed over that groin injury, guys, for this one here.
Just a few months ago, the Indiana Fever were living through a season from hell. They were a young team, full of promise, but consistently told they needed more time. Then the unthinkable happened. Caitlin Clark, the phenomenal rookie who had single-handedly ignited a national conversation around the WNBA, went down with a severe groin injury. The moment she limped off the court, the book wasn't just closed on the Fever's season, it was slammed shut, locked, and thrown away. So-called analysts didn't even hesitate. They immediately declared Indiana's playoff hopes dead on arrival, predicting a swift and painful collapse.
When she does come back, do you feel like
I would not want to play the Indiana Fever, especially with a healthy Caitlin. I mean, that building, I got a little taste of it last year. And doing the Final Four, shows when she's on the court, when someone can really change the game in a couple moments like she can. She could be quiet for 10 minutes and then pop, pop, pop. It's 4 threes and the game's out of reach. And I think what the Fever are doing without her, that's going to help them in the future too, knowing that they can win a game when she's not on the court or she's not, at her best. So yeah, that Fever team, I would not want to play them with a healthy Caitlin.
But inside that locker room, the narrative was different. Instead of collapsing, the Fever clawed their way back with a vengeance. This was no longer just Clark's team. It was a team of fighters, Aaliyah Boston transformed in the paint, playing with a ferocity that reminded everyone why she was a recent #1 pick, dominating the boards and bullying defenders. On the perimeter, Kelsey "Money" Mitchell lived up to her name, burying soul-crushing jumpers when the game hung in the balance, and veteran Odyssey Sims steered the ship with a calm, unshakable confidence, making the hustle plays that don't light up the box score but win championships. They didn't just survive without Clark, they thrived, forging an identity built on pure grit and proving they belonged in the finals on their own merit.
Walks there to the stanchion.
And then, just as the finals were set to begin, the bombshell announcement dropped that sent the entire sports world into a frenzy. Caitlin Clark was fully healed and would be suiting up. The news was a live grenade tossed into the living rooms of every rival fan base. Social media exploded. Clips of Clark practicing in secret suddenly racked up millions of views. The very same experts who had written her season's obituary were now forced to backtrack, their predictions left in tatters. For the two super teams in the league, the Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberty, the timing couldn't have been worse. They were already sweating an Indiana team that had bulldozed its way through the playoffs. Now they had to face them with their ultimate weapon reloaded. But how is this even possible? The WNBA rules are famously strict. Playoff rosters lock at the end of the regular season. There are no emergency signings, no last-minute additions. What the public didn't know was that the Fever's front office had pulled off a masterstroke of strategy. While the league allows for 12 players on a playoff roster, Indiana only submitted 11. At the time, it was dismissed as an oversight or a sign of their lack of depth. But it was a calculated gamble. That one empty slot was a sliver of hope, a door intentionally left cracked open. Clark was never removed from the team. She was simply on the inactive list, waiting. That foresight, that belief, allowed them to activate her at the perfect moment, turning a quiet administrative decision into a checkmate move. Clark's return isn't just a morale boost, it's a tactical nuke. Even if she's only at 80%, her presence on the court creates a phenomenon known as gravity. Defenses are instinctively drawn to her, no matter where she is. You could have her stand in the corner, and she would still pull 2 defenders with her. This instantly creates gaping lanes for Aaliyah Boston to dominate one-on-one in the post. It gives Kelsey Mitchell the breathing room she needs on the perimeter to get her shot off without being relentlessly trapped. Every possession becomes a nightmare of impossible choices for the opposing coach. Collapse on Boston and leave the greatest shooter in the game wide open? It's a defensive disaster waiting to happen. For months, the haters and critics have been chirping. They said Clark was overhyped. They claimed she couldn't handle the physicality of the pros. They were giddy when she got injured, using it as proof that she wasn't built for this league. Now they are in shock, forced to watch the player they dismissed suit up for the WNBA Finals in just her second year. The receipts are endless, and they are all being pulled. This isn't just a comeback, it's a reckoning. The narrative they tried so desperately to push, that the league was better off without her, that her impact was just media hype, is crumbling before their very eyes as she steps back into the spotlight on the grandest stage of them all. Let's be blunt, this move is not without enormous risk. Groin injuries are notorious for lingering, for flaring up at the worst possible moment. The intensity of the finals is a brutal test for any athlete, let alone one coming off a significant injury. If she comes back and looks rusty, the critics will pounce. If she re-injures herself, the narrative will be ruthless. Indiana could have played it safe and protected their franchise player for next year, but they chose to believe. Bringing Clark back isn't an act of desperation, it's an act of supreme confidence. It's a message that they believe they belong here, and with her they believe they are unstoppable. It's a high-stakes gamble, but the payout is a championship trophy and a story that will be told for decades. And make no mistake, the WNBA League office is privately ecstatic. While they maintain a public stance of impartiality, Clark's return to the finals is pure gold. A finals series without her would have been a solid storyline, but a finals with her is a national media event. We're talking about a monumental surge in ratings, primetime network slots, and a flood of casual fans who will tune in just to witness this comeback. This isn't just basketball, it's business. Her presence guarantees millions of eyeballs, massive revenue from advertising, and a level of cultural relevance the league has been chasing for years. Clark coming back isn't just a win for the Fever, it's a jackpot for the entire WNBA. Beyond the stats and the strategy, her return is an act of psychological warfare. Imagine being the Fever's opponent. You've spent weeks preparing for a gritty, Clarkless team, building a game plan around stopping Boston and Mitchell. You feel confident. Then, 48 hours before the series begins, you learn that the most impactful player in the entire league is back. It's a demoralizing blow. Every defensive scheme has to be redrawn. Every player has to recalibrate their mindset. That confidence evaporates and is replaced by paranoia. Indiana just won a crucial mental battle before a single basket has even been scored. That's the kind of psychological edge that championship dynasties are built on. Her return doesn't just add one great player, it elevates everyone around her. Suddenly, Elijah Boston isn't just a dominant center, she's a dominant center who will almost never see a hard double team again. Kelsey Mitchell isn't just a sharpshooter, she's a sharpshooter who will get more wide-open looks than she's had all season. Even role players become infinitely more dangerous. Defenses can't afford to help off of anyone to stop a drive because the ball could swing to Clark for a back-breaking three. This ripple effect transforms the Fever from a tough, resilient team into a terrifyingly complete offensive machine, where every player on the floor is a legitimate threat. This moment is about more than just one championship. It's about legacy. By choosing to come back and fight through the pain for the finals, Caitlin Clark is sending a powerful message. She's not just here for the hype, the endorsements, or the record-breaking ratings. She's here to compete, to win, and to put her body on the line when it matters most. Win or lose, this act alone redefines her narrative. She's no longer just the college phenom with a limitless shooting range. She's a warrior, a leader who will battle through adversity for her team on the biggest stage. Fans will remember this comeback for the rest of her career. It's the stuff of legend, proving her grit is just as impressive as her game. This is no longer just about a basketball game. It's about rewriting a script that was already written. The Indiana Fever, a team left for dead, are now standing on the verge of history, led by a player who has defied every expectation and silenced every critic. Her return for the finals isn't just about adding a shooter, it's about adding a legend to the final chapter of an underdog story. The haters are watching in disbelief. The world is watching in anticipation. This isn't just a comeback, it's the moment a star solidifies her legacy, not just with her talent, but with her will to win against all odds.